Hi, this is Greg Witt with Alpenwild. We're the leader in active travel in the Alps. I've been hiking and trekking in the Alps for over 50 years, so terms like Alps, alpine countries, I toss those out like confetti. And I assume that everyone knows what I'm talking about. So today we're going to back up a bit and clarify what we mean when we talk about the alpine countries. There are 8 countries that comprise the Alpine countries. These are the countries where at least some of the European Alps mountain range is located. These countries are Switzerland, Austria, France, Italy, Germany, Slovenia, Liechtenstein, and Monaco. The Alpine region has a strong cultural identity. The traditional culture of mountain farming, cheese making, and time-honored traditions like wood carving and yodeling still exist in alpine villages. The people of the Alps love the mountains and the outdoors, especially hiking and skiing, which are a way of life in the alpine region. Of the 8 alpine countries, there are just 2 where the mountains and alpine culture really dominate the landscape of the country: Switzerland and Austria. In each of these 2 countries, the Alps make up about 65% of the land area. Switzerland is the crown jewel of the Alps. It's what people imagine when we talk about hiking in the Alps. Switzerland has the highest concentration of glaciers in the Alps, and nearly all of the Alps' 4,000-meter peaks are in Switzerland. The Swiss highlights include legendary peaks like the Matterhorn and the Eiger, and classic resort areas like St. Moritz, Zermatt, and the Jungfrau region. If you've never been hiking in the Alps and you want the quintessential Alps experience, start with Switzerland and you won't be disappointed. Austria is also loaded with alpine charm and some wonderful hiking regions, although at a lower elevation than in Switzerland. Austria's largest alpine area is in the western region state of Tyrol. Innsbruck is the capital of this region, and there's spectacular hiking in the valleys to the north and the south of Innsbruck. In the next 4 alpine countries, France, Italy, Germany, and Slovenia, the mountains and the alpine culture don't comprise as big a portion of the country as they do in Switzerland and Austria, but all 4 have important alpine regions that you just can't miss. In Italy, the Alps lie in the north of the country, along the border of France, Switzerland, and Austria, and Slovenia. Then this border forms the backbone of the Alps, with many of the highest peaks shared with Switzerland and France. My favorite hiking region in the Italian Alps is in a range with dramatic limestone peaks and spires known as the Dolomites. Up until World War I, this area was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. This region is still known as South Tyrol. The locals are largely German speakers, and alpine charm just oozes out of every village and family-run traditional hotel. In France, the alpine region lies in the southeast and includes Mont Blanc, Western Europe's highest peak, and the highest peak in the Alps. Legendary resorts like Chamonix, Grenoble, and Albertville are as popular with hikers as they are with skiers. In Germany, you have the Bavarian Alps, where the highest peak is the Zugspitze, with an elevation of nearly 10,000 feet above sea level. It even has 2 small glaciers. Now, I get goosebumps when I talk about Slovenia. It's an undiscovered gem. It's the most heavily forested of all the alpine countries. Slovenia is where the Alps meet the Adriatic. You'll be hiking in the Julian Alps, but also kicking back in world-class resorts like Lake Bled. The final 2 alpine countries are the micronations of Liechtenstein and Monaco. You probably wouldn't plan an outdoor vacation or hiking vacation based in either of these principalities, but if you're in the neighborhood, why not stop by and say hi? Liechtenstein is wedged between Switzerland and Austria. Most of the population lives on the small plain on the east side of the Rhine River. The area of Liechtenstein is about the same size as Denver International Airport. One of my favorite alpine treks is the Via Alpina, where the first leg starts high in the mountains in Liechtenstein and descends to the capital city of Vaduz, before crossing the Rhine into Switzerland. What a great way to start an amazing alpine trek. Monaco is more Mediterranean than alpine, but the Maritime Alps in France rise above Monaco on the north. Monaco is just 2 square miles, a little larger than Central Park in New York City, and one of Europe's greatest treks, the GR5, starts at Lake Geneva and concludes in, you guessed it, Monaco. So there you have it, the alpine countries of Europe. If you enjoy this quick geography lesson and introduction to the Alps, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and you'll be on your way to becoming an Alps pro. This is Greg Witt for Alpenwild. See you in the Alps.